Great. Hi, welcome everyone to our Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid Zoom question and answer overview. I'll be doing a bit of talking, sharing, and then we'll have Q&A at the end. So we're asking a little bit of housekeeping here. We're asking that you leave your questions to the end and that you put them in the chat box. And Chantal is joining us here. She's helping me hugely with organizing the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid. And she is based in the Netherlands. So if your first language is Dutch and you'd rather write your question in Dutch, Chantal will translate it and then share the questions with me so we can address what it is you really want to know. My hope is that what I go over will address your questions. But if you have more at the end, please do ask them in the chat box. And again, if you're just joining us, feel free to type your location in the chat box, because it's fun to see how the grid is growing already 2 weeks in advance. And it's going to be growing even more from today on. This is going to be a 60-minute meeting. That is my hope. I want to cap it at 60 minutes. If there are remaining questions that you feel that you didn't get answered for yourself personally, we're going to put a link in the chat box that you can go to. It's actually the Facebook event page for the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid. Post your questions there and we will answer them there so more people can appreciate and learn from the responses there, and hopefully direct more people to that event page. So all of you are muted for this meeting. I hope that you don't mind that. It just is for sheer housekeeping. It's easier for me to focus my energy on what I know I need to share and then have Chantal direct me the questions from the chat box. And if you want the replay link from today's gathering here, please do put your email address in the chat box, and we will know that if you do that, that you are requesting the replay link. If you forget to do that and you still want the replay link, then send us a message through the Contact Us page on the website, which is Chantal just put that link up there. Oh, that's for the event page. So Chantal, will you drop the actual yeah, great. Will you drop the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid actual website link in the chat box? We don't want to flood you too much with a lot of activity in chat box, but it's really a helpful resource for us. And I think that covers our housekeeping notes. All right, so I was told very specifically by Mother Gaia and the spirit teams I work with, who are really the ones behind the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid, that this needs to be held in sacred space, our gathering here, because it's very important, because all of this is about raising the spiritual frequencies on the earth. So I'm going to do some invocations here. Oh, I am that I am, kind on Creator, great mystery source. Please bless us with all that we need for this gathering, this afternoon, this evening, whatever time zone people are in. Please bless us with all that we need and all that is meant to happen in divine plan alignment for the highest good for Mother Gaia, for the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid, and serving Mother's highest good. Oh. Calling out to Mother Gaia. Oh, Mama. We are your sacred children here in sacred circle around the world. Please bless us, Mother, with all that we need for this gathering, for our work as we walk our paths every day, and all that we are doing to plan for the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid, Mother, which is for you. You have requested this, all in divine plan alignment. Oh, thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mother. Love and gratitude, love and gratitude, love and gratitude, love and gratitude. Oh. I'm calling out to Una and Un's council in the family of one. Please bless us with all the luminous love that you wish to gift us for this discussion today, this gathering, to support us in our lives and to support us in our planning for ceremony on the 23rd, to support Mother Gaia and her divine plan, all in alignment with Mother Gaia's divine plan. Oh, thank you. And calling now to all the other guardians and spiritual teams that are supporting the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid to help clear the planet of that which does not serve Mother Gaia, which to help raise the sacred energies here on Earth, to really vitalize the divine feminine and help us birth the new Earth that's coming in with more ease and grace. Oh, calling all of you beautiful sacred ones in from the spirit realms. You know who you are. Asking you to help us hold sacred space here in a beautiful ceremonial way for our gathering this afternoon. Oh, thank you. Okay. Again, if you're just joining us, you are welcome to put your location in the chat box so that we get a sense of how broad our gathering is. And if you want the replay link, after we're finished today, please also put your email address in there. Thank you. And we're going to collect those. Okay. So some of you don't know me from Boo. Some of you know me pretty well. A little bit about myself for those of you who don't know me. I have essentially surrendered to serve the Great Mother. And when I say the Great Mother, I mean Mother Gaia and also the Divine Feminine at large, the Great Divine Mother, certain councils on the spirit plane that are infused with the Great Mother's energy. I am a Gaia communicator and a high priestess. I work very closely with Mother Gaia. She was actually brought into Mother's energy and consciousness was brought into my energy body in a ceremony in early June of 2012, right after I was diagnosed with lymphoma. So I have this really deep rapport with her where I've surrendered to serve her. And in doing this, I keep on stepping into better health and really following my soul contract, really, which is to serve Mother. I know I agreed to do this before I was even born. I'm also a healer. I have a healing practice. I'm an author. I have a couple of books out, two of which focus on conversations with Mother, wisdom to the world that she wants the world to have right now. The Messages from Mother, Earth Mother is one of them. And the other one is the Great Mother Bible. And I also lead a year-long course called the Great Mother Love Way, which is really fun. It was really scary for me to put together when Mother said it was time for me to do this year-long course and teach it. And I'm like, oh my God, what do you want me to do? But so you're welcome to check all that on my website. You can just Google my name. Essentially, my website is marecromwell.com. So I really consider myself a midwife of the new earth, devoted to the Divine Mother and all of her manifestations. And I'm really also devoted to balance between the sacred feminine, divine feminine, and divine masculine. It's not just all about the feminine. All right, so I want to tell you a little bit more, give you a little bit more background about the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid. I first heard about this Tibetan prophecy that when 1,000 goddesses or Tibetan Taras unite, this will shift the tone of the planet from fear to compassion. That is what this whole event is based on, this unified field, this global grid. And I first found out about this on Facebook, honestly, back in late 2015, because the woman who is the founder of Tree Sisters posted about it as an invitation for women to donate to have trees planted all over the world to reforest the planet, which we really need to do. And as soon as I read that, I got a little message from Mother, and sometimes she's very loud in my mind and I know it's her speaking. And she said, and you're going to organize this in the physical. And I was like, okay, that's a big job. And of course I said to her, and you're going to help me, right? And she said, of course I'm going to help you. So we thought initially we were going to do it. I had a partner, a woman who was very excited about the idea. And we were planning to do a retreat weekend, but have it be a big one. We were going to invite all these different women. We were going to have vendors. We were going to have tickets, and it was all going to be paying for itself. We thought that was a great idea. And then that was going to be planned for 2017. And then Mother always has a plan. That's how I live my life. Mother has a plan. She doesn't tell me all of it. If she did, I'd be completely overwhelmed. She gives me little breadcrumbs. So she woke me up very early in the morning in late July of 2016. And she said, this this Thousand Goddesses gathering needs to happen in Washington, D.C. before the elections. And this was the presidential elections in the United States she was referring to. And I was kind of gulped. It was 5 a.m. and I said, okay, what day, Mother? And I got up and looked at the calendar, and she basically was like, the 3rd Saturday in October, which is why we do it now every year, the 3rd Saturday in October. And so I scrambled, and it was amazing. We had volunteers to step forward. We were able to get a permit at the last minute to do an event on the Washington Mall, which is not a small thing. And what happened was I was connected with a high priestess, Oshun high priestess, and she led the ceremony on the Washington Mall. Very, very powerful. And a couple of very gifted light workers, or love workers, I prefer calling them, saw a massive conduit of white light come into the mall in the middle of our ceremony. Now, I had no idea that this is what Mother wanted to happen, but it was what she wanted to happen. Everybody who was there got activated. There were stories from so many people afterwards. And a lot of dense energies in the heart of DC got cleared out by the amount of love and light that came in the middle of that ceremony. And I actually got a message from a woman who worked in the Pentagon, because I sent a spiritual energy report to everybody who was there, registered 2 weeks later, once I really got a sense of what happened that day. And the people's reports came back about seeing this white light coming in and how powerful it was. And this woman in the Pentagon who worked there said, since the Thousand Goddesses gathering, I have noticed a lot less shadow masculine behavior in the Pentagon. And she said, I thought it was me and what happened with me at the gathering on the mall, but now I'm realizing it was the ceremony and the amount of luminous love that came in that did a big clearing. So again, I had no idea this is what Mother was going to manifest, or we were going to manifest for her. And then we did the event 2 years later on the Washington Mall. And again, there was another massive conduit of white light that came in. So this is what we are doing with the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid now. This is a global grid of us doing ceremony and calling in the divine feminine realms. And so I'm already kind of getting into why it is so important for us to do this event once a year. And before I get into that, I want to talk about what exactly will be happening on October 23rd, just to kind of make that very clear. So on that day, starting in New Zealand, which is a number of hours before us, time zone at least before Europe and before the United States, there will be people gathering in sacred circles, either virtually online or in person, or they'll be doing ceremony on their own. And this is going to be happening all over the world. It's going to be like a rolling activation going on across the planet. And the guidance, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that in a little bit, is that we will be calling in the divine feminine spiritual realms. We will be connecting our energy to Mother Gaia's heart to really ground this spiritual energy to Mother. We're also being encouraged to call in the divine masculine to hold sacred space for us, calling on, say, Archangel Michael, any of the archangels that are more of the masculine bend of energy. Some of them are really androgynous, because the masculine is it's really important that we honor that the divine masculine and the divine feminine together create that balance, and that makes for a more powerful ceremony. And if you're not comfortable doing that, that's fine. There are no big, hard and fast rules with this other than do ceremony from your heart. And when you do ceremony from your heart and you're calling in these beautiful sacred ones, you are actually creating a very powerful healing field of energy where you are doing ceremony that's going to be connected with the whole global grid. And so when this is going to be happening on the 23rd, we're going to be creating this luminous love field around the planet. And it's going to help clear denser energies on the planet that need to be cleared and removed. This is part of what we're doing. And as you are very aware, I'm sure there's been a great imbalance in the energies on Earth for thousands of years, going back 4,000 or 5,000 years, where the masculine, the wounded masculine, has become very dominant. And it's triggered a lot of other wounded feminine behaviors. And we need massive amounts of healing on all levels here on the planet to help us shift into this new earth that's coming in with ease and grace. And so one thing I don't usually share, but I was told that I should share this, is that as we do this, I have some good friends who are cosmic shamans. They're going to be actually helping to weave the energies together of all of our ceremonies around the planet. So we're going to get the support of some really beautiful people who are really kind of angels incarnate into physical. And they're going to be helping to weave these energies to make for a very tight and beautiful and powerful, cohesive grid. And what's going to happen then, and I didn't know this originally either until it manifested, is we're going to be amplifying a grid of energy around the planet that's Gaia's oneness grid. And this is a grid that overlaps with other grids around the planet. The nature spirits have their own grid. The dolphins and whales have their grids of their songs in the waters of the world, ocean waters. The ley lines around the planet are another grid. The Gaia's oneness grid is the grid of energy that we humans are being asked to support, to amplify, to feed lots of love into, to help support, again, the clearing of the dense energies on the planet and the raising of the energies so that we can birth this new earth. All right. So again, if you've just joined us, please feel free to type in your location, so we have a sense of who's represented here from where. And if you do want a copy of this replay, also put your email address in the chat and we'll capture that and send you the replay link. So I did create a longer video about why the 1000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid is so important. And it's on the YouTube channel that's under my name. And I think, Chantal, you were going to drop that link in there. Yeah, thank you, Chantal. So that's a longer talk about some of the spirit teams behind the 1000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid, gives you more background, and helps really broaden this whole area of topic that that this is a really important phenomenon for Mother and for all the spirit teams that are out there in the universal realms that are supporting Mother in helping us reach full ascension here. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit right now about why ceremony is so important, because I know not everyone has a background in doing ceremony. Maybe you haven't studied with anyone, maybe you've never, thank you, Isabel. Can you say that question to the end? Chantal, can you capture that question from Isabel so we'll address it at the end? It's a big question. So when we do ceremony in a really beautiful way from our hearts, as pure as we can, we are calling on spiritual beings, as I learned to do it, to amplify our ceremony. And we have a specific purpose for the ceremony. Perhaps we're doing a ceremony because we need to call for healing for someone, or we're doing a ceremony because we're honoring trees that have just been cut down in a forest, and we want to honor the overarching devas, the consciousness of those trees, to at least send them love and healing to the tree realms for all of the abuse that they receive. And that could go for any species on the planet, including humans. So ceremony becomes more powerful when we call on our spirit teams. And I don't know most of you, so I don't know who your spirit teams are, but you can call on Archangel Michael, you can call on the Virgin Mary, you can call on Mother Gaia, you can call on the Norse pantheon of gods and goddesses, or maybe you like to work with the Hindu pantheon of gods and goddesses. These are actual spiritual beings. And when we call on them and we ask them to support us in ceremony, they are infusing our ceremony with their powerful spiritual energy. And we are the conduits. We are the ground crew that is doing the work that's connecting this energy then into the earth. And it's especially powerful when we are very connected to Mother Gaia's heart. And thank you. Yes, you can call on Kuan Yin. I mean, there's so many deities that we can call on, and it's really how you feel guided. because there's no one way to do ceremony. There's no one way to do even ceremony just for the 1,000 goddesses gathering global grid. But, you know, even in the Hopi message to the world about the changes going on right now, and their suggestions, you know, go out into the middle of the river, let go of the side of the river, you know, let go, don't be attached. They say everything we need to do must be done from a place of ceremony. And what they really mean is everything we do must be done from a place of honoring the sacredness of all and calling on the spirit team serving the highest good to support us. Gosh, it's hard not to answer questions as they come in. Chantal, can you keep on capturing these? All right, so there is a meditation on my website called the Mother's Love Cord Meditation, and it's about 24 minutes long. I encourage you to listen to it if you have the time, because it really connects you to the heart of Mother, from your energy body, your root chakra, to her heart, to manifest a very powerful spiritual connection, their energetic connection. Doing this ceremony within the 1,000 goddesses gathering global grid and anchoring your heart and your energy to Mother is a powerful, powerful way to then be really grounding what you're doing in the ceremony and feeding Mother, because this is all about serving Mother. This is all about helping her and this journey that we're on collectively, but Mother's at the root of it, if I can put it that way, of helping to manifest the new earth that's birthing right now. So again, ceremony done in the right way really raises the luminous love energetics of the area where we live, and also worldwide when we do a global grid of ceremonies. Okay, I talked a little bit about Gaia's oneness grid, and I don't know how much airtime I want to really give that right now. But again, I didn't know this when Mother asked me to organize this first as an event on the Washington Mall and then the global grid. And that's where I became oriented to this Gaia's oneness grid around the planet. And we will be, and as I mentioned to you, the cosmic shamans who will be supporting us, and all of us with our pure hearts and our ceremonies will be feeding an energetic grid around the planet. And there is another meditation or visualization on my website. It's actually accessible through the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering website, called the Gaia's Oneness Grid Visualization. If you want to do that in advance or do that as part of your ceremony on October 23rd, you're really welcome to do that. That's when you learn more about the spiritual councils that Mother is a part of, that are the family of one within the universal realms. I know that, Isabel, I know that you're here, that you actually saw them. You sent me that message and you saw them. And when you did that visualization, they're the purest spiritual beings. And they're very committed to Earth right now to help us birth this new Earth. Because when we fully reach ascension here on Earth, it's going to then ripple out from Earth throughout the entire universal realms. We're the seed planet for ascension within the universe at this time, which sounds mind-blowing, but this is what I understand, and I keep on hearing from the spirit plane, this is truth, this is truth. So Una and Un's councils, or the family of one, don't usually focus on Earth, but now that Earth is going through this process right now, they're very focused on Earth because they're very committed to the universal realms reaching full oneness too. Okay, so thank you, Chantal, for posting that. Another piece about this year's global grid is that when I started organizing it in the spring, when I realized it was time to get the energy going and do it. And I have to be really honest with everyone here, is that I have a lot of reluctance when I get asked to do this every year. My first thought, and I talked to Mother about it, I said, Mother, this is a huge amount of work, and the first time I did it, I went into debt, and she just keeps on telling me to trust. So I go through that dance every spring, but then I surrender because this is my work. I've surrendered to serve Mother. Tracy, yes, please share. I'll answer that question directly. And this recording is also going to be made available on the website and on the YouTube channel. It's not, you don't just have to receive it directly from me. So know that you can send people to that YouTube link or to the website. All right, but again, getting back to the spring. So early this spring, when it was beginning to clear, it was time to start activating this and get the organization going. Mother started waking me up early in the morning, talking about we need to focus on our womb hearts, the women's womb hearts, and not just women have womb hearts, men have womb hearts too in their ethereal body. And I thought, okay, well, I've heard the term womb heart, but I don't really know what it means. And so I was guided to interview a few people. And then Mother started downloading in me a meditation. And so if you go to the YouTube channel that I have, where all the Gaia teachings that I do go, and then everything related to the Thousand Goddesses Gathering goes, there are 3 interviews with some very powerful women who are wisdom keepers, where they also lead us through a meditation to connect us more with our womb heart, womb space. And then I offer some background about Mother Gaia's womb heart and then the womb of creation, because what Mother said to me was she wanted us to tap into our womb hearts, to help to heal into our womb hearts and activate them, and then connect with her womb heart, and then connect with the womb of creation in the universal realms. And this will be feeding the Gaia's grid, Gaia's oneness grid. This will actually also be helping us heal as women, because so many of us, it's a rare woman who doesn't have some still repressed energies within her womb space, because we've been dealing with centuries and centuries of a lot of repressed stuff and woundedness and abuse and on and on and on. And so this was what Mother asked us to do. So please take advantage of those interviews and the meditation that I offered. I know I'm saying a lot here, and if you don't have time to do this, that's fine, but I'm just sort of planting some seeds for you to consider as resources, and to even use them perhaps when you do your ceremony on the 23rd, hopefully, assuming that you will. I hope that you will. Okay, so how can you be involved in this global grid? I'm going to start with square one. And this is where I need to share screen. So bear with me for a second here. Oh. Mm, mm, mm. Come on. There we go. I hope all of you can see this. You should be able to see it. All right. So I've just clicked onto the website, the official website for the global grid. Now I'm going to scroll down here. Hopefully all of you have seen this. This is our interactive map. And there are a couple ways that you can join in the global grid. One is to do your own ceremony, which we encourage you to do if you feel like it. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in a few minutes about some basic ceremonial steps, so it doesn't have to be complicated at all. Another way to join in is to scroll down here. This is, again, this is a whole list of all of these events. They're all marked by nodes on the map. And scroll down here and look for a ceremony that is public, that speaks to you. Perhaps you'd like to join the Thousand Goddesses Gathering ceremony with the Temple of Avalon, based out of the United Kingdom, or maybe you'd like to join the ceremony that Goethe, I'm not good at saying names, that Goethe is organizing, and maybe that one's in Dutch. I would assume it is. I think Goethe, you may be part of this. I'm not sure. And here's another one that's public. So this is how you can figure out, what are you called to do? Like I have a very good friend who, gosh, you fly down at the bottom, who's doing, this is another powerful woman who's based out of Arkansas doing a public event. But there's a friend of mine who is doing, this is a woman who's a tremendous, she and her husband are powerful shamans. Cindy Miro Quesada, she's doing a public event honoring the goddess, and she's focusing on the womb heart. So again, I'm just giving you examples of what you could join if you wanted to join another ceremony online. And let's see, there's one in Luxembourg that's public, and I know Isabel, that's, I don't know you very well, Isabel, but that looks like a powerful ceremony. Anyway, a friend of mine is doing one out of Sacramento, California, and her name is Christy Valance. So if you go on the map then, and this is an interactive map, so you can zoom in and, you know, and another way to join a ceremony is to zoom in on the map and look at your region and see if there's anybody in your region who's doing a public event that's in person. And then you can join them. And there are not a lot of events because of the pandemic and all the restrictions that are in person that are public, but there's still a few, as I understand. So that's another way to join a ceremony and be part of the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid. Okay, now another way to be involved, as I was just talking about, and I'm going to click to another page here on the website, is to do your own ceremony. And if you've never done ceremony before, I really don't want you to feel daunted by this. I want you to just, and it's true for all of us, even if you've done a lot of ceremony, the most important thing when you are doing ceremony or planning to do it or about to start it is to bring your energy into your heart, is to just drop from your mind to your heart and think about all the things in your life that you love. And especially think about Mother Gaia, focus on her and all that she's gifted you with in your life. So fill your heart up with that love and gratitude. And that is the foundation for your ceremony that will make it a far pure ceremony with the energies that you'll be working in and calling in. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole page because you can do that on your own. But there are a lot of resources here on this page. There's a link to the Gaia's Oneness Grid to help you get oriented and really infuse your energy body with some powerful luminous love to help amplify Mother and the Gaia's Oneness Grid. That's part of what that visualization is about. This is, again, a link to the womb heart interviews that I did and the one that Mother asked me to do, the meditation. There's some sound journeys. You can tap into and download a whole list of 1,000 goddesses if you would like to read 1,000 goddesses. And here's a full ceremony going through those steps. And I think, Tess, you're on this gathering. You're in this gathering. So thank you, Tess, for putting that together. You guys did that ceremony a couple of years ago. This is an interesting one that people may go, what is this doing here? When we did the second event on the Washington Mall, I was specifically guided by Mother to have a divine masculine council and committee there to help hold space. And then the guidance was to invite a couple of the men forward, representing all the men there, to make these vows to step into their divine masculine self, to heal their wounded masculine self, and to really commit to standing side by side with the divine feminine to support the healing of the planet. And so all the information is in there. It's not that lengthy a ceremony. Some people might want to even include that and invite men to be part of their ceremony. It's completely up to you. This is an apology poem to Mother Gaia that was written by a wonderful woman who's one of the co-founders of Gather the Women. And she asked that I share this so that you think about considering that in your ceremony. Okay, so again, I'm not going to go through all of these steps, but because you can read this on your own, it's on the website. But it's a very simple ceremony. If you've never done ceremony before and you want to do this on your own, is to basically light a candle. And if you have an altar already, to light the candle at your altar. And if you have any icons or images of any divine feminine beings that you wish to have there for this ceremony, that's beautiful. You don't have to. I did a ceremony one time in Thailand where we didn't have any icons. So we went to the computer and we Googled all these different deity, goddesses, and we just printed them off. And we had images from the internet of all these different goddesses and gods. And that's what we laid around on the ground around the periphery of a sacred fire. So it could be something like that. But again, you don't need to do that. I'm just giving you an example. The next step is to feel yourself connected to Mother Gaia's heart. Drop your heart energy to Mother's heart and really feel yourself connected to her. And if you can do the Mother's Love Cord meditation in advance, that would be beautiful. That will really help you cultivate that Mother's Love Cord connection. And then call in once you've lit your candle, um, call in the various goddesses. And again, if you have pictures of them already around or icons on your altar, that's beautiful. If you don't have them, that's fine. But who do you want to work with that you feel guided to? Who do you already work with? If you feel that your team is really solid, then don't feel the need to call in anymore. It's really your guidance. This is not a dogmatic way to do ceremony, but we are invoking the divine feminine because those are the energies that are needed on the planet right now to help raise the levels of compassion energies, to raise the levels of harmony, the divine feminine wisdom energetics. We're calling that in. We want to embody those energies within our energy body and sync those energies to Mother's heart to help to amplify her and amplify Gaia's oneness grid. So once you've done all of your invocations, and I would also encourage you to call in your ancestors serving the highest good. They always are there ready for us to tap into. And again, that could be all you call in, that's fine. You are also, though, invited, if it feels right to you, to call in some divine masculine ones for balance in the ceremony. And if it's just Archangel Michael or Archangel Raphael, that's beautiful. Maybe it's Shiva or Odin, whoever you feel called to work with on the spirit plane, who are deities from these different traditions. As an example of how I call spiritual beings in for ceremony is I say, I am that I am, calling on the Virgin Mary, for example, to come bless me or bless us in this ceremony. Thank you, love you. It's as simple as that. And then the next thing is to state your intention. Within the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid, the intention is for our ceremonies to be part of this global grid, to vitalize the divine feminine around the world and to help amplify Gaia's oneness grid, to bring healing into our sacred earth. And again, feel that connection with Mother's heart as best as you can. You really want to be in your body as you're doing this, anchored to Mother. And then the next step is to visualize and know that there are all these ceremonies happening all over the world that day. And so see it as a beautiful web of energy that you're connecting into consciously, that your ceremony is connecting in consciously. And the more you visualize that, the stronger it will be. Beautiful. And then once you've done that, you're welcome to chant. Again, there are songs that are on this website page that are listed here or at the top. Drum, if you have a drum, drums are really powerful at amplifying energy, sacred energy, and the drum is considered the heartbeat of Mother Gaia, the drum beat. Dance if you want, really move your energy around your space or outside, wherever you're doing it, really get that energy going. Be silly, really, that being silly really raises the energy, make silly moves or songs, or I know that sounds really odd saying that for some of you, but I've been told numerous times by my spirit teams that we're far too serious. Humans are far too serious and we need to raise our energy. So that's one beautiful way to do it. And keep on visualizing Divine Mother's loving energies, your Divine Mother teams, they're moving through you straight to Gaia's heart. And this is what this is about. And again, when you feel that you have finished and you've done all that you are called to do and it feels complete, then you thank all the spiritual beings who came in, send them love, send them gratitude, and then let them know that the ceremony is now over. And I basically do that by clapping 4 times. I announce, I am that I am, calling out to all the beautiful ones who have been called in ceremony, letting you know that ceremony is now officially over. And then I clap 4 times, and that just sort of lets them know and disperses the energy. So that is it in a nutshell. You are encouraged to elaborate in a way that you feel guided, to use the resources on this website page. And again, there's some chants on this page that I mentioned. You can even do sacred water ceremony if you feel like it, if you know how to do that, if you have sacred water. I'm not going to go into that right now. You could have call in the different elementals, call in the mother of air, the mother of water, the earth, fire, different directions. I go into a lot more detail when I teach this in the Great Mother Love Way course that I teach. I'm just trying to give you a synopsis here. But when your ceremony is over, then if you are with a group of people, it's really wonderful then to have a ceremonial potluck and to bless all the food that you're sharing and continue it in that way. Now I'm going to stop share here and basically just mention a little bit more, and then we'll open up to the questions more. So we really, really, really encourage you to register. And hopefully all of you have seen where that Eventbrite page is. I know, Chantal, you were going to drop this onto the page, onto the chat of, this is where I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting tired. Let me have a sip of water here. Oh my. So the reason it's important for people to register is we want to map you on the grid. The reason it's important to map you on the grid is getting back to the role of the cosmic shamans who are going to be helping. It helps us weave the energy better to a large degree. It also really shows everyone else how powerful our unified field is. By seeing all these different nodes around the world that are linked together, it just thrills Mother. Mother wants me to tell you that right now. She just told me that. It thrills her to know of so many of her sacred daughters, beautiful daughters that we all are, that are honoring her and supporting her with ceremony on this day. And the reason that we ask you to pay, and it's a sliding scale, and the lowest rate is just $11.11 US with, I guess, an additional Eventbrite fee. The reason we ask you to pay is because that actually helps to feed energy back into our organizing. It's all energy. And there's a significant amount of time and work and some website costs, etc., that go into manifesting this. And when you pay for it, it helps us pay our bills, to put it mildly. Sometimes people make donations directly. There's a donate button on the website too. That's very welcome. I have to be honest and tell you that the way this was funded for the most part last year was I was having a health adventure and I had a GoFundMe that a friend set up, and a lot of that money was paying for my time and energy. And people were supporting my health adventure, my healing from lymphoma, but that was also paying my rent and my bills, so I could do the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering. And this year, a friend has given me a donation to support my divine feminine work, which gave me a huge sort of sense of relief that we would be able to make this happen, and I wouldn't be in a place of angst about, because I live very simply. So if your budget is tight, that's fine. We still want you on the grid. So if your budget's tight and you can't register with any payment, then just send us a message on the Contact Us page on the website. It's very clear where that is. And tell us where you are and if your event's public or private. And if it's a public event, the link as to how people can join you. We're not restricting anybody, but there are expenses involved, and that's why we asked you to pay. Okay, now I would love to open this up for questions. So Chantal, I know that you have a few that you've gathered. There were some good questions that came in. And I hope, Chantal, that, where's Chantal? Can you unmute yourself, Chantal? Wow, there she is. Okay.
Yes, so I got 3 questions. And
okay.
The first one is on the Eventbrite page, it mentioned that ceremony will be held from October 23rd until October 25th. And the question is, will you be able to, or are you able to explain what is expected with respect to performing ceremony in your own time zone?
First, I have to go back to that Eventbrite page, because if it's such to the 25th, that's interesting, because some people are doing ceremony on the 24th, but I didn't know it said the 25th, and I may need to edit that. The second part of that question, I hope I've answered already. Essentially, get this replay if you want to go over what I shared here, but go to that page on the website, and there's a lot of information there that will walk you through it. But the basic pieces are, come from your heart, light a candle, create sacred space, call in the divine feminine beings that you love to work with, and chant, dance, sing, drum, raise the energy as best as you can, be silly, and then end your ceremony. And also visualize yourself being connected to Mother's heart really strongly, and then the global grid of ceremonies. That's kind of it in a nutshell. But there's so much more on that website page, so I encourage people to read through that. Okay, Chantal, another question.
Yes, I don't think it was more as much about the content as it was the time. So I think it's more like the different time zones. When are we supposed to do ceremony?
Oh, okay. You know what? Time is another dimension. And people have asked me this over the past few years. And the response is really do it when you're guided. It all feeds into the grid. If you live on the East Coast of the United States and you want to do it at 9 a.m. in the morning, do it at 9 a.m. in the morning. If you live in New Zealand and you want to do it at 3 a.m. in the morning, do it at 3 a.m. in the morning. It all is feeding the grid. It's not a specific time. But within those 24 hours or even the full weekend, that is the focus.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. This question is from Isabel. What if people have an issue with the word God, goddesses, or deities? How can I make it more inclusive for those people?
Yeah, and I understand a lot of people have issues with the word God, for instance. I would use the term spiritual beings of the highest good, divine beings, divine masculine beings, divine feminine beings. I would hope that people don't have any triggers around those terms.
And also the question from Isabel, if something is not clear, just put it in the chat so I can get back to that later. But the other question from Isabel was, what does full ascension mean?
I saw that when I was talking. I don't know if anyone really understands what it fully means. My understanding of full ascension is that from the moment Earth was created, there were very powerful spiritual councils involved in the creation of this planet and in manifesting evolution. And there was an intention from the very beginning that Earth be a galactic outpost for spiritual consciousness, a very, very high spiritual vibration planet of life. And so full ascension it's been attempted, as I understand, many times within the Earth's history, but it's been blocked many times by other beings from off planet that don't want Earth to manifest in that way for a variety of reasons, meaning that it's not their agenda for there to be that much luminous love emanating from this part of the cosmos. So full ascension is us living as the trees are already living, honestly, and as the nature spirits are already living for the most part. And that is really recognizing our oneness and that we are beings of infinite love, and we are dancing in fields of love and oneness. And there is no fear. We manifest in the incarnate. We basically manifest love in our lives, and we weave in this whole fabric of love, and everything is taken care of for us, and we make sure everyone around us is taken care of. And And we understand how we're in a very sacred web of love fields all around the planet with all the other, seen and unseen sacred ones. That is my definition of ascension. I think if you Google it, you'll probably read other ones. That's a great question, Isabel. I know that Isabel also asked, what is she as if she has a spirit team yourself? Then please call your spirit team. That's your starting point. That's your foundational point.
Another good question. What's your favorite source on learning about the different goddesses as well as sacred masculine beings? Where would you recommend someone to start their research?
Oof. I don't know if I can answer that question very well. We're all different souls on our soul journey. I mean, there are many women that I have met in my journey, and I know I'll be meeting more, who have been priestesses in past lives for different in different spiritual traditions, either Isis priestess or Danu priestess, or and then Native American incarnations where they were really honoring Mother Gaia, or maybe White Buffalo Calf Woman. My suggestion is to create an altar and tune in and go to the library then, or search on the internet and see where your heart calls you, because I can't honestly suggest a template for everybody. It's really your soul and your heart and how you're guided. I mean, I work very closely with the Virgin Mary. I never thought I would. I mean, I'm a recovering Catholic like a lot of us, but she came back into my life and I began to realize that she was far more than the Catholic Church ever taught me. So that's my suggestion, is listen. We need to still our minds and listen and cultivate sacred space within our lives on a daily basis if you can, or maybe weekly basis if that's the best you can, and just see how you're guided. That's my best answer. I'm sorry. I'm obviously I don't want to word it that way. I mean, I've started to serve Mother Gaia. This is a huge part of my path. And so I obviously encourage everyone to connect with Mother Gaia, because we're all meant to be connected with her. We're all her children. She's our foremost mother. So if you don't feel like you have a strong connection with Mother, personally, I would encourage you to do that. And that Mother's Love Cord connection meditation is a powerful way to do that.
I think that's it for the questions. Kathy had a remark, so I'm just going to read that. More and more worldwide, the term "the Great Mystery" is what is replacing man-God religions. So
true, and that to me is more of an indigenous term, Great Mystery. Yeah, thank you, Kathy, for that.
That's all of the questions. So
and thank you, Isabel, for paying for 2 tickets on Eventbrite. That was a wonderful donation to our work. So gosh, I guess we can wrap it up. No more questions. Everybody who wants a replay of this has dropped their email in the chat box. If you haven't, then you have a few moments to do that. Okay. On that note, thank you, Chantal. And now I'm going to, oh, thanks, Isabel. I'm going to now officially close this and thank all the spirit teams that have supported us this afternoon. Oh, calling out to Mother Gaia, to Una and Un's councils, the family of one, and all the guardians who have supported us, all the other spirit teams, sending my loving gratitude to all of you. We are now complete here in this gathering. This mini ceremony is now over. Thank you so much. Oh. By the way, I want to add something, having just said that. One of my friends who's very, very gifted, he and I were messaging earlier, and he said that he saw an angel sitting on top of the link, the Zoom link, for our gathering this afternoon. So I just thought, wow, because I don't know. I mean, I've been feeling it all morning. Like it's just been very blissful, beautiful, divine energy in my space. So know that we're all being so loved up in this, and we're loved up regardless of whether we do this or not. But I just want you to really hear that. And on that note, thank you for taking some time to be with us. And please, please do register if you haven't already. And please share with your communities that this is an amazing opportunity to join us on October 23rd. And so much love to all of you. Mwah. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to all of you saying thank you.